What did you think about the game, the way Florida made a run? Just give me a 20,000-foot view of your thoughts.
So 20,000-foot view, I thought the game was well played, well fought. The Tennessee came out looking a little sloppy. A lot of drop passes, missed, receivers, stuff like that, missed tackles. Anthony Richardson played the game of his life. I don't know where he came from. That is not the Anthony Richardson that we've seen at all this season, not even against Utah. So the fact that he played to the best of his ability and Tennessee still pulled out that victory, it seems like they rallied around probably say the end of the second, start of the third, rallied around to get it done. And it was really impressive to see Tennessee actually, with Pitt they finished the game, but to finish the game soundly. And I know at the end it was Florida did the onside kick. A lot of that's just luck. I mean, a lot of it's just luck. You can't tell where the ball's going to bounce. But did they get to him? Yeah, they did. Did they take him out? Did Florida win? No. So all good.
Yeah, it got scary. And if you followed Tennessee, good morning to you, Garish. Check out El Chico there on Merchant Drive. Let's talk, by the way. And if you follow Tennessee, you know there's an opportunity for heartbreak at pretty much every turn. And I couldn't help but think, I mean, I don't have a BVS, which is battered Vol syndrome. I don't have that, but I did talk to Jacob Warren about that. I talked to Cooper Mays about that. The mentality that something bad is going to happen. And it was hard not to think that way, given the recent, and by recent, 15-year history as the game came down to the final moments and you had a failed Hail Mary attempt that would have won Florida the game. I mean, it doesn't tie it. It's a W, no matter the extra point. So that would have been absolutely disastrous. But the fans you talked to over the weekend, and again, I know you were locked up a lot of it because you're ill, but the response was just tremendous. I thought that to get that monkey off of Tennessee's back, one win in 15 years, first since 2016, and Amanda, at the end of the day, Tennessee now, I think, can hang with Florida moving forward, barring some sort of coaching change or something like that. If Josh Heupel goes somewhere else, but let's assume he stays. I'm sorry. I've never been, and you can vouch for this. I've never been on the Billy Napier bandwagon. I just don't get it. He was at Louisiana, and I understand that he got them to double-digit wins, and that was impressive, and that was awesome. But in the state of Louisiana, those kids don't want to leave. They are more loyal to their state in recruiting than any other state in the union by far. So if they can't get into LSU because they're not quite good enough, they're going to stay close to home. That's why the La Techs of the world over the years have been good. And I thought Billy Napier made a bunch of questionable decisions. I thought that Billy Napier was aggressive on fourth down, and I like that. But to call a timeout at the end of the half into the first half, when it seemed like Tennessee was just going to maybe let the clock run out and go to half, and instead it turns out to be a 99-yard drive. And Jimmy Himes wrote about this on offthehooksports.com. So they take it down the field. Tennessee gets the ball to start the second half, and then they score again. And then if you're Florida, you're suddenly in a big hole. You mentioned Richardson. He did play the game of his life. And listen, it's probably because Tennessee's defensive backs. I mean, and their mid-level coverage from the linebacker position. I just don't think they're very good there. I don't think they're very good there at all, Amanda. I don't know how it gets better anytime soon.
No, I don't know how it gets better either. Just practice, I guess, makes perfect, as they always say. But you're right about Billy Napier. I do not understand the love for him. I mean, he went for it on fourth down and in Tennessee and their own territory. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you? I mean, in several times, I thought for 1 second that they didn't have a punter or something. Like it got bad. That's just terrible coaching. And I understand that they picked it up and all of that, but one turnover on downs and the game's completely different for you. Why put yourself in that situation?
Yeah, and I think he believed that he had a short roster compared to Tennessee. I think for one of the few times in the series that Tennessee had better talent, and he knew that, and he wanted to be aggressive. I respect that. And most of them worked out for him.
Yeah,
But there were a couple, the one you mentioned in particular on his own end around the 30-yard line that I just thought was absolutely stupid. I
it
that made
was.
0 sense to me, and it doesn't, and I say all this, and for those that have followed any of my work, I don't say this in retrospect. I'll tell you how I felt at the time. There are a couple I thought, yes, I understand you going for it and being aggressive, but there are a couple more that just made absolutely no sense to me. So it was a very historic day for Tennessee, and of course, beating Florida. And congratulations to those guys. But the down and dirty at 30 is also brought to you by Pedigo of Chattanooga. Pedigo of Chattanooga is absolutely unbelievable. You can go rent a bike or buy a bike and know that you have service right there. And I'm talking about mechanical service too. If you order one online, an e-bike that is, you are not going to get easy service. You're going to have to ship stuff around. It's not going to be fun. So Pedigo, Chattanooga, and you can tour around and you don't have to wear yourself out and worry about parking and all that good stuff. So Trevor says, my one critique for my Monday morning armchair quarterback comment, put your dang foot on their throat and go for the first down on that last drive. I don't hate that necessarily, but yeah, I didn't really have any issues with Tennessee's coaching so much as I just felt like that maybe they got a little bit complacent. And the thing that you can't do with this defense, and in particular the back seven, Amanda, is just expect, because your offense is so good, if you have a double digit or even a 20-point lead, you can't expect just to hold on to that because Tennessee doesn't have the defense. They could give up 3 quick scores just like you could make 3 quick scores.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that they have the offense that they have
Right.
because like you're saying, you give up 3 quick scores, but the likelihood of you coming back and scoring 3 times very quickly is it's a good chance, especially with this, the way Hendon Hooker's playing. And what I felt was most impressive was I know that Cedric Tillman is the best wide receiver out there, and he was missed to an extent, but he wasn't really missed. I thought that was very, I don't know, that was very a good sign for Tennessee going forward. And Bru McCoy stepped up. I mean, Bru McCoy played lights out. So,
Boy, and after the game too. I mean, for him, some of the things he said were just like wowzers, impressive. He talked about the fact that he's happy just to give back to his teammates more than anything else, and I just thought that was unbelievably impressive. Um, it's the exact opposite of what you would think Bru McCoy is. He had, here he transfers one, two, three times. He goes from Southern Cal to Texas, back to Southern Cal, and then to Tennessee. You have the domestic violence allegation, and that's all I'm going to call it because nothing came of it.
yep.
And then you have him suing the university. So if you don't even know this guy, if you don't meet this guy, you're thinking, whoa, who needs that sort of baggage? But after the game, it was all about, want to give back to the team. I want to prove to them. And there's just this pervasive culture, and I don't want to wax poetic, overly poetic, but there is this pervasive culture at Tennessee that they want to do what's best for the team. And I think Bru McCoy was quickly indoctrinated into that. So as far as any sort of baggage, he left it at LAX, which
Yeah,
is good.
I totally agree with that. And this Bru McCoy situation, and I don't want to harp on it because I know I've covered it extensively, but it just shows you that players aren't always what they seem and portrayed. and universities aren't always what they seem and are portrayed to be. USC continually comes out looking like the loser in that situation over and over and over by what it does, by how Bru McCoy has acclimated this Tennessee program, about how, excited he is and a part of the team. And it just keeps looking like USC was in the wrong. I mean, just every single day.
No, I can't argue that. So some of the numbers are crazy if you look at what Tennessee has accomplished over the first month of the season. Tennessee continues to skyrocket up the rankings. The Vols now have moved up in the AP and coaches poll for 4 consecutive weeks. By the way, can somebody determine if the coaches poll is sponsored by AFCA or USA Today Network? Because it depends on what you click. So just somebody figure that out and shoot me a text and let me know.
The Vols is USA Today.
I know, but Tennessee had a release for AFCA. Nevertheless, maybe it can be one day the off the hook coaches poll. The Vols beat. That's probably pricey. The Vols beat Florida 38-33. I've got lofty goals. The record 4-0. Tennessee ranked number 8 and number 9 in the AP and coaches poll, respectively. The first time the Vols have been in the top 10 since 2016. Tennessee last earned the number 8 ranking in October 2006 when it also took the 8th spot going into matchup with LSU. That, according to UT Sports Information Department, Tennessee, of course, has an off week and they will travel to LSU. So some of the history that is involved with this, which is just crazy bizarro. The Vols 38-33 win over the Gators is one thing, but how about the first time that Tennessee has scored 30 points or more in their first 4 games in a season since 1993? That's Heath Schuler Day, kids. And we're talking about 2 ranked opponents, one on the road. The Vols also have scored 194 points this season in 4 games, the most for any Tennessee football team since 1915, which managed to score 202 points, I guess, in leather helmets. As for the most points scored by any SEC team in its first 4 games, guess who that would be? That would be Alabama back in 2020. They did okay. They went undefeated and won a national title. They scored 200. Yeah, that's not bad. Tennessee would probably take that. Alabama scored 194 points in 2020. So they're pretty good. Tennessee's offense is thriving. The Vols have the longest streak of scoring 30 points or more in the SEC. The Vols have topped the 30-point mark in each game since facing Georgia November 13th last season. Tennessee 4-0 for the first time in 2016, which happens to be the last time the Vols beat Florida.